Hello guys, Royal1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we're going to be looking at some cards that are going to be released in Ancient Guardians. Now, this isn't the entire set list, this isn't all the cards that you could potentially be getting, but they basically put here some of the reprints that you're going to be getting in Ancient Guardians, and I thought we would go through this and talk about them because these are some of the reprints, and that's kind of interesting to see that Konami, instead of giving us the whole set list, they're giving us like a limited amount of cards that aren't the actual cards we already know about. And honestly, that's kind of surprising to me. So we're going to be going through this list here. It's not all the cards for this. I don't think it has the Dora McCord, the Panda deck, or the Reptile deck in it, but it does have all the reprints, I think, that are going to be in it. I don't know if there's any more reprints that might come out with the actual box when that's actually released, but from what I've got from like this sneak preview of selected cards, it's going to be showing us specific reprints that you can potentially be getting from your Ancient Guardians boxes. So we're going to be going through this. Hopefully you guys will enjoy, and hopefully we'll see some banging cards coming out in Ancient Guardians. So let's begin. So right off the bat, I see 3 cards. I see Venom Naga, King of Poisonous Snakes. This had a reprint in OTS recently, so okay, giving us a card that's already been reprinted in Common recently. Interesting. Venom Naga, the Deity of Poisonous Snakes. This card is actually really interesting in my opinion, and I get why it's reprinted into here because the whole reptile-based set, but this is interesting for me for the fact that, well, it's basically a game-winning card that you're never going to resolve, but if you do somehow resolve it, that's pretty cool. So I don't feel like this has had a reprint in a really long time. I feel like this is a really cool card to reprint, and I'm kind of happy to see that Konami have actually reprinted this in this sort of little mini set of Ancient Guardians with all the other reptile monsters. So that's pretty cool. You also have Evil Dragon of Anita, and honestly, this isn't a good card. This just says you can banish reptiles from your field or graveyard, specimen from the hand, and it gains 600 attack for each one. It's something that came in like a premium pack, like God knows how many years ago, and Konami are just reprinting it here for the sake of it being a reptile. I don't really see it as being anything good, but hey, you could maybe want this for your new reptile strategy, so that's kind of cool. And that's Skullmeister. Konami, A+++ reprint. Nice. That's actually a really good reprint. This card hasn't had a reprint since back in the day in Code of the Daughters special editions, so that it's pretty much nearly impossible to actually get Skullmeisters nowadays unless it's the original or the secret. Well, sorry, the secret is the original, so it's either the original or the supers. I don't think it's had a common reprint. It might have had a common reprint in a structure deck, but I don't think it has. But this is actually a really good reprint. This card is absolutely insane and is definitely at least a staple in the side deck, because it literally just says, oh, you're playing a deck that has any effects that activate Engrave, so Burning Abyss, Dino with Miscellaneous, or any decks along those lines. Just discard the card, you get the activation, and you're done. So Skullmeister, really insane card. Very happy to see that Konami have reprinted it in the set, and yeah, actually really happy to know that Skullmeister is reprinted. It's like, this is actually pretty cool, and if it's higher rarity than my supers, I might pick up a set too, because that's pretty good, and I like the rarity bump, so that's pretty cool. But let's continue on. So next we have Light Serpent. Okay, this was like a photon card, right? If this card is sent from your hand to the graveyard, you can special summon it from your graveyard. Okay. That's not really a good reprint. Sure. Luster Pendulum. Okay, this makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, Ignister got put to free on the last bid in the limited list, so Luster Pendulum getting a reprint doesn't really make a lot of, you know, like, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And Konami releasing this as a reprint in this set makes sense just because of that, because it's a Pendulum set. It's got the whole Dora McCord archetype. So, Luster Pendulum getting a reprint makes a lot of sense. So, that's actually pretty cool. Pancreatops. This has had too many reprints. You can get it in Common, you can get it in Secret, you can get it in Ultra, you can get it in literally almost every valid rarity that would be good outside of like Super or Ghost or Ulti. So this might just be a super rare, just to have for the sake, oh yeah, you can play every rarity of this limited to one staple card. But I don't think it needed another reprint. So yeah, Konami gave us another Pancreatops. Cool. Oh, okay. So to go along with Luster Pendulum, they also gave us Dynaster and Ignister as well. Did they give us... They also gave us Magister Pendulum. Okay, so they gave us all the Draco Power package. So you have a Luster Pendulum, then you can go into Ignister into Special from deck to be able to make Magister Pendulum, then you go into the Dynaster from there. Like, that's just old standard Draco Power plays. So that's actually a pretty cool how they put that whole engine in there with the Luster Pendulum. It definitely makes sense for Prominence to be in here, because it was obviously put to free and not a lot of people have it. I have my Ultra Original and my Ulti Original, so I'm not going to be trying to get any more of these, unless maybe like it's a better rarity. I doubt it will be, but that's actually pretty cool. And obviously I miss King of the Pharaoh Imps. This makes 100% sense for it to be in this deck, this set, for the pure fact that, well, whole reptile based deck searches any reptile from your deck. Literally makes sense. There's nothing that can be said about it. This is just a standard card that you would definitely see in a set like this. So King of the Pharaoh Imps, yeah, makes sense for it to be in here. That's pretty good reprint nonetheless as well. And if it's a holo, because I think this is an entire holo set, then that's actually pretty cool, because I believe King of Pharaoh Imps only has a common printing back in like Laval. The set where you got like 101 or something, or it was before that. I'm not too sure the exact set, but it was back in like the Zexal era where it was originally released. So pretty cool card. Snake Rain, I'm pretty sure we already knew about Snake Rain, because it just discards a card and sends 4 reptiles to the grave, and I believe it was mentioned on the original thing with Ancient Guardians, like on the board where they post new sets coming out. So yeah, this is just like obvious for it to be in here. Plus this card was actually getting really hyped for some reason, so that makes sense for it to be in here even more. Trade-in. Nice, that's actually a pretty good reprint trade-in, just for the fact that, well, trade-in is just a card that for some reason always has some sort of price to it, because it's just a card that says, oh, discard a level 8, draw 2. It can be used in literally so many different decks. For instance, off the top of my head, Blue Eyes, Dangers, Dark Lords, literally any deck with a level 8 monster. Like, it can be used in so many different decks that it does make sense for this card to be in here, not only because, well, I'm pretty sure most of the bear archetype is level 8, but also because it's just a generically good reprint to have. So it's a card that always holds value. Viper's Birth. This is like, what, a monster reborn. Activate only if all monsters in your graveyard are reptile monsters. Okay, so this is like monster reborn for like reptiles, I'm guessing. Select one non-tuner monster in your graveyard, special summon it to destroy it during the end phase. So yeah, monster reborn for reptiles. Like, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Oh! That's a good reprint. I believe Asia's Rock has only had like 1 reprint, or not even any. I'm not too sure if it, because I remember its original print was a super rare way back in the day when what's it called come out, when the flip ritual deck came out. I completely forgot the name, and it was a super rare in that set, and this card hasn't had a reprint since then. So that's actually a pretty good card. It might have had a reprint in like a copycat set, because I remember there was a copycat set for that original set that they had like multiples. I think it was the Dragons of Legend. Yeah, it was probably the Dragons of Legend, because I think this came out in there. And that's actually really cool, because that's just a revival for Beast. I believe the Bear Sit archetype is like an entire Beast archetype as well. So that's a pretty good reprint in my opinion. That's actually pretty cool. I'm really happy with that. Pot of Riches. This card is garbage. It's just bad. We're not going into it. Card is garbage. Wavering Eyes. Alright. If it's higher rarity than my original super ones, then maybe I'll pick up a set. Like, the card's bad nowadays because Pendulum doesn't exist, but when everybody was playing Pendulum back in the day, this card was absolutely nuts. Wavering for 4. Oh, I get to add another Wavering Eyes. I get to banish a card. I get to add a Pendulum monster. And I get to deal 500 damage. Oh, that's too good, man. Ignite Reload. That's actually that's a pretty decent reprint, I would say, just for the fact that reveal any number of pendulums in your hand and then put them back in the deck and draw the same number, +1. That's pretty good. Just in general, I have no qualms with this. I don't think it was really necessary to be a reprint in this set, but I get it. It's a Pendulum archetype, so you can reprint it in here. Damage equals reptile. Okay. Once per turn, when you take battle damage from a battle involving a reptile type monster, you special one reptile monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the battle damage you took. So it's a really bad battle trap. Like, is this a new card or an old card? I don't recognize this card at all. Okay. Rise of the Snake Deity and also Offering of the Snake Deity. These are just like Venom Naga cards. Like this one's what target one face-up reptile monster you control, 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy all 3 targets. Oh, okay, so this is like an Icarus attack, but this just summons Venom Naga. That's all these are. Like, it's pretty cool to see this though, and that is it. That is all the reprints that Konami have decided to show us. So, what's my thoughts on this? What are my honest thoughts? Personally, reprints on a scale of 1 to 10, I would honestly give these reprints like, I'd say it's about 6, just because the Skullmeister. Like, the Skullmeister is like literally an A++ reprint, but like the rest of this stuff is like, why? Like, this wasn't really expensive. I'm pretty sure the gold ones of these were pretty cheap. These come in rares from like Bosch. This came in an ultra rare, but I guess this one coming in an ultra rare gives it, and an ulti gives it somewhat of a presence to get reprinted, but still. Snake Rain is just going to be a good reprint in general, but we already knew that. Trade-In is a pretty decent reprint, but I don't think it makes the set any better. Agent's Rock is pretty cool, but again, I don't think it makes the set any better. Like, looking at these few reprints, I'm like, this doesn't really make me want to buy the set. This makes me want to buy singles, and when a set makes me want to buy singles instead of buying the actual set itself, it's just like, what's the point in the set? So, looking at this set in general, I think the archetypes are interesting. I have no interest in the reptile one or the beast one. I think they look cool, but I just don't have any interest in them. Dora McCord is something that I kind of want to test myself, play a bit more, but it's just like, it's not a great archetype. I put in with like magicians, I put in with Pepe, I put in like multiple different things. It's just not a great deck. But honestly, these reprints, they don't make me want to buy a box, and that's kind of upsetting. Like Skullmeister, it's a good reprint. Don't get me wrong, but you're not gonna get one. You're not gonna get a playset in a box. So it's just like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, they have some decent reprints for like people who might just be getting into the game, like Pancreatops. If you don't have one, then it's just a good reprint in general. Lost the Pendulum, it makes sense, but I wouldn't say it's like a grade A reprint. Like, honestly, the only, like, this is an A tier. I would say this is an A+ tier, and then the rest of it is just like B tier reprint, B tier reprint, C tier, garbage tier. Makes sense, but not really that great. This is just garbage tier. Like, I look at this set and I'm just like, it doesn't have that many good reprints. But guys, that could just be me. What are your thoughts on these cards that they've shown us coming out in Ancient Guardians? Maybe they got a few more reprints that I don't know about. But looking at this, I just don't think the set might be worth buying. It might just be worth buying singles this time around, boys. But guys, that's the video though. Tell me what your thoughts are on these cards in the comment section below. Do you think these are good reprints? Do you think these reprints are better than what I said? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. But that is all I have to say, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Robert1 signing out, and later on.